How are things in Glockamara? Does that willow tree still weep there? Ah, well, we had to come on early after the film because, of course, the mighty Petula was in it. And if you stick with us on Children's BBC, which has started early, we've got an exclusive interview coming up after an unscheduled cartoon, which is Laurel and Hardy. Love that bee. Now, we've had so many requests to repeat our interview with the magnificent Petula Clark that we thought because she'd just been in Finian's Rainbow, that's what we do. Here she is. You're not going to believe it. It's finally happened. I do believe that on this phone in front of me is the mighty Petula Clark. Petula, hello.
Hello, I'm not so sure about the mighty.
Well, you are now, of course, super fab, hip and trendy. You do realise that, don't you?
Am I really?
Let me explain what we're doing. Now, because there's been such a huge resurgence of 60s music and Tom Jones got into the charts with It's Not Unusual, we thought it was about time that the ladies fought back and we picked you, and now the British youth are behind you in trying to get you back to number one.
Well, I think that's absolutely smashing. Actually, I did hear something about it because my son, who's 14, did mention it to me, but, you know, I didn't realise how serious it was, and I'm really very flattered, I am.
Oh, good. Well, it's all very serious stuff. When you recorded Downtown, did you expect it to be a hit initially?
No, of course not. I mean, when you go into a studio, you go in with some songs that you like. I mean, I always liked Downtown. I thought it was a great song, but I didn't realise we were going to record a monster hit.
Was it written especially for you?
Oh, yes, it was. It was written by somebody called Tony Hatch, who actually, he also wrote the music for, I think he wrote the music for Crossroads.
Yes, there's a soap happening over here at the moment called Neighbours, and he's written the theme for that as well.
That's right. Well, he's living in Australia now,
right.
But he is English, and he wrote a lot of other great songs for me, too. Things like Don't Sleep in the Subway and I Couldn't Live Without Your Love.
Well, we remember all those as well.
Do you really?
Oh, yeah. And what are you doing now? Because it's been a while since you were in the charts. Well, I mean, up until we've sorted this out.
Well, I do concerts.
Right.
At the moment, I'm speaking to you from Monte Carlo. And in fact, our official home is in Geneva, in Switzerland. So you see, I'm constantly travelling.
Well, that's all very flash, that. Can I ask you before we let you go, Petula? When you were younger, did you hang around downtown with your mates? Did you go out on sort of Saturdays or Fridays?
Oh, sure, yes. Yes, I mean, our downtown was Kingston, Kingston on Thames.
Right.
And, I mean, it was really the exciting thing to get on the 65 bus and go and, go to the movies and...
Right. OK, well, we'll let you go now, but can I have a promise, though, that if you do chart with Downtown, that you'll come in and see us in the afternoons?
Are you kidding? I would love to come.
Terrific. Petula, you are super fab, hip and trendy. Thank you very much indeed for talking to us, and we do hope that you manage to get back into the charts with this one. We'll do all we can.
Thank you, Philip. Bye-bye.
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 There she is, the mighty Petula, and of course, yesterday, that momentous day, she went blistering into the charts at 138.
When you're alone and life is making you lonely, you can always go downtown.
She's marvellous. Now, this afternoon on Children's BBC, we start off in a moment with the puppy's new adventures, and a bit of a problem with the front of this because we just had a look at it and it's a bit messy. It looks like someone's dripped coffee all over it, so sorry about that. But we thought we'd play it anyway. Then after that, there's The Really Wild Show, which is followed at 5 o'clock by News Round, and then there's Colour in the Creek at 5:10. But just look at the mess at the beginning of this.
It was really exciting. We were all moving overseas. My boy Tommy, his family, even Dolly and me. I'm Petey, the puppy. But the fun didn't last for long. We met with a storm at sea and 3 stowaways. Old pals for my day at the Stray.
Hiya, Petey.
It's Dash, Duke, and Lucky.
Hang on, pup. I'm a-coming.
We were safe. The ship with my boy aboard was leaving us behind. They didn't see what happened to us. I'll never see my boy again.
Says who, kiddo? We'll help you find him no matter what.
And so began a search that would take Petey to every corner of the globe. The Puppy's New Adventure.
Drama for Christmas on BBC One. Alan Ayckbourn's Absurd Person Singular.
Ronnie, have you seen this extraordinary machine?
Yes, yes.
Well, not only does your washing and your whites and your blacks and your colours and so on, it does your ironing.
No.
We shall soon be totally redundant.
A dramatisation of Keith Waterhouse's This Office Life, starring Dinsdale Landon.
Don't worry, dear. You'll soon learn.
Nothing's what it seems, Randy.
First, it goes back to the store.
Then what you do?
You get a requisition form.
Then you get your desk.
I mean, most likely it's the same one that's just gone out.
But it's the procedure, see.
Robert Lindsay stars in a special Give Us a Break.
What's like that? It's them two headbangers. I'm not answering that door.
And Joan Hickson stars as Agatha Christie's Miss Marple.
Marry me 3-5. My dear, we've just found a body in our library.
Drama for Christmas on BBC One.
And what dramas will there be on Miss Ellie's return to Dallas? Well, that question is answered after we relive the breathtaking best of the 1984 BBC Sports Personalities of the Year, Torval and Dean.
Scargill has been helping bring Christmas cheer to children of striking miners. He was their guest at a party in his home village. As John Thorne reports, Old King Cole arrived with an appropriate companion.
All the way from Greenland.
Merry Christmas!
And it's not Ian McGregor in drag either. Which way are we winning, Jim? Let's win this way.
About 300 children crowded into the miners' welfare closest to Mr. Scargill's home. It was the second of 3 parties for different age groups, funded entirely by donations. The youngsters clamoured to get in the picture between Father Christmas and their local hero, Arthur Scargill.
We're fighting for these youngsters, you know, and quite honestly, the spirit that's being displayed here today is tremendous. It's very, very moving as well. I'm very pleased to be here, along with Father Christmas, of course.
And is there a separate message then for the coalfields that are working?
I think that the coalfields that are still working are missing out on a hell of a lot. The spirit that we've got here is something to behold, and I only hope that before too long they join us in this dispute and bring it to a swift conclusion. These kids deserve it, you know. Every trade unionist in Britain who helps us are helping these youngsters, and that's what it's all about. Merry Christmas.
Anne Scargill also lent a hand, and they'll both be at the final Worsborough party for teenage youngsters after Christmas.
Finally, with many pubs and breweries throughout the country doing what they can to keep drink and driving apart, Tony Skase has been to one Lincolnshire pub with a simple solution to the problem.
Landlady Nora Toynton has her own way of making sure drivers who are fond of drink don't drive. She takes the keys of their cars away from them. They're handed back the next day.
Well, I'm worried that somebody may go out of here and get killed, and especially if they've been drinking in here.
How do they get home?
They walk, or we get them a taxi, or we run them home. My husband or myself has often run people home from here.
How do the regulars at the Punch Bowl pub in Spalding react to the landlady's firm action?
Great, because it saved me from getting locked up, you know, because that's what would have happened, because I was well drunk,
Well, I think it's a good idea, really. I think everybody thinks the same. When they wake up in the morning, you know, they realise what has happened.
I'm very proud of the landlady, because what she's done is she's saved me my licence on numerous occasions, I think, yes.
I'm told you've had your bike taken away by the landlady.
It ain't the first time and it won't be the last.
How did you get home, then?
Behind the knees.
That's all from the newsroom tonight. Maura Stewart will be here tomorrow, and I'll be back with the news on Christmas Day and Boxing Day.
Hello, well, we've all enjoyed very mild weather today, temperatures up to 13 centigrade or so. It's much colder just to the west of this front where the cold air's arrived. It's 8 centigrade further south of us, and only 1 centigrade over the central Atlantic where there's been some snow showers. All of that's coming slowly eastwards across the country during tonight. The rain will clear away, it'll turn colder, and then for late tomorrow, this set of fronts will bring milder, wet and windy weather back to most areas, I think, for the first part of Christmas Day, then followed by colder weather again during Christmas Day itself, and probably by Boxing Day there could well be some snow around, but it looks as though it's just the north that might see some snow for Christmas. The satellite picture taken earlier on, you can see that band of cloud just to the west of the country. That's the cold front, and to the left of it you can see further to the west a lot of snow showers over the Atlantic, and they'll be reaching northern areas later on tonight. So speaking of tonight, it's mild weather to begin with, but really as the rain clears away and the wind gets round to the northwest, then you'll find it turning a good deal colder. In some central areas you'll find it cold enough for a frost, with some icy roads too. The showers turning wintry and the rain hanging on to the southeast until the morning. And in fact, tomorrow morning, starting off still fairly mild, wet and windy in the southeast, but the rain will clear away, and then it'll turn out to be a pretty bright day. Probably very few showers to follow along there, but there will be some showers in the north, and some of them turning wintry, as I said. Later in the day, the next lot of cloud and rain will be reaching Western Scotland and Northern Ireland. That's all from me. Have a happy Christmas.
Entertainment for everybody this Christmas Eve on BBC One. In Jim'll Fix It for Christmas at 6:15, 2 Cinderellas go to the ball. Father Christmas arrives in the summer and Carol goes singing in the rain. Then at 6:55, one of our dinosaurs is missing.
We shall steal dinosaur.
At 8:25, only Fools and Horses.
See, remember what you said, that you liked solitaire diamonds? So I thought, well, you know, I'd get her a cluster of solitaires.
At 8:55, Cagney and Lacey.
Diana, would you look at me? Hey!
Take it easy.
Oh,
Take it easy.
you
Don't
got a
do
gun,
this
Chris.
way.
Hey, wait!
Back up!
At 10, Val Doonican.
Hello. I look forward to seeing you all right here on Christmas Eve on BBC television, where we're going to have a lovely Christmas family show, so do try to join me.
At 10:50, Angels in the Annex.
It's called improvising.
It's how a lot of producers work nowadays.
Midnight Mass of the Nativity from the Church of St Mary and St John, Wolverhampton, begins at 11:45. And that's Christmas Eve on BBC One.
Now, back to this evening, where the floor is lit for Wayne Sleep and his guests.
Santa and his reindeer love to have a hoof. He dances down the chimney, they hoof upon the roof. Dancing in the fireplace where the embers glow. It's Santa's very, very hot shoe show.
On Friday on BBC One, a Christmas special with the magical music of Barry Manilow. Chicago's Christmas Magic on Friday at 9:55 on BBC One.
Now, on One, the orchestral touch of James Last in a Christmas concert from St Patrick's Cathedral, Dublin.
Starting tonight on BBC One, 3 programmes based on the war diaries of Harold Macmillan. Macmillan at War. The first programme recalls events in North Africa in 1943, where Macmillan was Minister Resident.
The Battle of El Alamein began on October the 23rd, 1942. For the Allies, it was to become the turning point of the war. It was the first step in a move that would eventually lead to the expulsion of the enemy from the whole of North Africa.
This was the most historic moment that my life was likely to have. I mean, to be really in the whole as it proved ultimately, the whole Mediterranean command in war, with the highest, in a world I'd never moved in at all, of prime ministers, presidents, field marshals, chiefs of staff, politicians, French, afterwards Italians, Greeks. It was a wonderful experience, and I thought it'd be good to have it on record.
Lord Stockton remembers in Macmillan at War, starting tonight at 10:45 and continuing tomorrow and Friday on BBC One.
On BBC Two, shortly, the last of Frederick Raphael's Oxbridge Blues. Ben Kingsley, Diane Keane, Jeremy Child and Alfred Mark star in Sleep 6.
Get this kid off! Come here, please! I'll kill you!
Well, I'll tell you this. It's not over yet.
JR and his lousy schemes. Man has crucified me. Another day.
You're not going to do this to me again. Never again.
Dallas, back soon on BBC One.
Omnibus follows in 15 minutes on BBC One after the news from Moira Stewart.
The miners' visit to Libya. Now there's a row back home. Poles pray for the Solidarity priest who was kidnapped and may be dead. OPEC ministers gather they want to avoid an oil price war. And farewell to Venice, the Queen Mother's last day. The Labour movement seems united tonight in condemning the links between the National Union of Mine Workers and Libya. It's been revealed that the miners' chief executive, Roger Windsor, spent several days in Tripoli last week as part of the union's campaign to gain financial support from trade unions in other countries. For the Labour Party, Neil Kinnock's reaction was sharp. The Gaddafi regime is vile, he said. Any offers from them would be an insult and must be rejected. And the TUC General Secretary, Norman Willis, said he's got assurances from Mr Scargill that no financial support will be accepted by the NUM from the Libyan regime, which both regard as an odious regime. Earlier, in a statement, Mr Scargill had said, "Our union welcomes financial contributions from trade unionists anywhere."
The storm has been gathering for a week, ever since the Foreign Office learned from Libyan television news bulletins that an NUM representative had arrived in Tripoli. Mr Windsor was shown meeting President Gaddafi. Such audiences are rare honours and certainly not the sort of thing which can be organised by Libya's trade unions. Moreover, it's customary for such meetings to have an agenda of items to be discussed. So the big question is, what did the two men talk about? Did Libya offer financial help to the NUM? And if so, was it a direct offer or was it to be channeled through the Libyan TUC? Those are questions which MPs and trade unionists alike are asking Mr. Scargill. Today, Mr. Scargill was insisting this was just one of a series of visits to talk to trade unionists in other countries. They'd received no money from Libya, he said. The news of this contact has come at a sensitive time. It's 6 months since the murder of a London policewoman led to the closure of the Libyan People's Bureau, and President Gaddafi is anxious to re-establish those links. But first, Great Britain wants him to release 4 Britons who are being held in prison without either having been charged or tried. Mr. Windsor's visit has opened President Gaddafi to accusations of trying to interfere in the strike, and the miners' leaders to one of making an astonishing diplomatic blunder.
In Warsaw tonight, over 40,000 people attended Mass in the Church of the Pro-Solidarity priest who's been kidnapped and possibly murdered. Poland's Roman Catholic leader, Archbishop Glemp, compared the kidnapping to the assassination attempt on the Pope, and the Communist Party head, General Jaruzelski, accused what he called anti-socialist forces of trying to exploit the kidnapping for their own ends. Reporting from Warsaw, Kevin Ruane.
This is the way it's been ever since Father Popiełuszko was kidnapped. The church has remained open 24 hours a day, with various social groups, writers and actors, as well as steelworkers, taking it in turn to keep vigil and pray for the priest's return. Every night there's been a Mass, and the 10 o'clock Mass on Sunday morning, the one he used to say, has drawn very large congregations. By now the church is decorated with solidarity-type banners and pictures and portraits of Father Jerzy, a peasant son who won the affection of worker and intellectual alike.
Go for gold in TV Times. Get your free bracelet, win this fabulous gold pen, and meet me, Robin Asquith, amongst the gold tops.
Sunday, Judith Krantz's shocking bestseller explodes with love, desire, secrets, and treachery. Princess Daisy, Sunday at 7:45, concluding Monday at 8 on ITV.
Next this evening, the national and international news from ITN.
Over the past few weeks, you've cleared your dandruff with Head & Shoulders, right?
Right.
So what now?
Well, I don't need a dandruff shampoo, so I'll use this, right?
Wrong. Look, we washed this man's hair in Head & Shoulders until the dandruff had cleared. Then on one side we switched to an ordinary shampoo, but on the other we continued with Head & Shoulders. 6 weeks later, and look, on this side the dandruff's back, but on the Head & Shoulders side, still no dandruff.
I see. So to keep my hair looking this good...
Keep on using Head & Shoulders regularly.
Right.
Keep asking for Head & Shoulders, or you could be asking for your dandruff back.
Buying a business computer can be a real gamble, unless your money's on the right suppliers. In Wales and the West, those suppliers are Reeves Computers. With over 500 business installations behind them, you can bank on getting experienced advice every step of the way. This invitation tells you how Reeves make computers pay off every time. If you haven't got yours yet, ring Freephone 1200. You've got everything to play for and nothing to lose.
Question: how do you beat Ford's price rise? Answer: contact VMW Motors before September the 28th and we'll show you how.
Are you bringing up a child on your own? It doesn't matter if you're not the parent, but if you're getting child benefit, there is another allowance you can claim. It's called One Parent Benefit. Ask at your Social Security office for more details.
Tomorrow night at 10:30, Hammer House of Mystery and Suspense. It's about an electronics genius who convinces his wife that he's dead, but because he's a genius, he says they can be together again, providing, I suppose, that he doesn't suffer from flat batteries. That's tomorrow. This is tonight.
Programmes in the new season tonight on ITV. At 10:30, Whatever Happened to Bill Brunskill? George Melly investigates.
Humphrey Littleton, Ken Collier, Chris Barber, Acker Bilk. These are among those who tell the strange and passionate history of New Orleans-style jazz in Britain. A story spanning 40 years and including everything from triumph to disaster. You'll discover from this programme how the music found its way from Louisiana to a pub in Thornton Heath, South London. It wasn't a smooth journey, but it happened.
Whatever Happened to Bill Brunskill? Tonight at 10:30 on ITV.
This is HTV West. Now today's international news from ITN in London. The time, 10 o'clock.
Christmas Day on BBC One brings a festive blankety-blank.
You don't think we've kind of understated it a bit this Christmas? Look how festive all the ready sticks are. Oh, isn't that gay? Oh, I've tremendous hopes for this year's programme. Tremendous.
Find out at 3:15 this afternoon in...
In 5 minutes, a spaceship crash lands and an alien with an enormous appetite arrives. Glitterball, a story from the Children's Film Foundation. First, on BBC One, an abominable character, thinly disguised as Bugs Bunny.
Last Christmas, I hung the little angel from the Christmas tree, and Stephen helped me. Mum and Dad went out to a party, and Stephen and I were in bed. And then I woke up, and there was smoke, and Stephen was crying. And I ran and shouted for Mum, but she didn't come. And then Stephen stopped crying. That was last Christmas.
Fire can break out at any time. This Christmas, don't leave your children alone in the house.
Us old campaigners need to watch out for ourselves crossing the road. Find a safe place away from parked cars. Look all round. Listen to the traffic. And whilst you're crossing, remember, keep looking and listening all the time. Looking, listening, all the way to the other side. After all, you're only old once.
Thank you very much.
Soldiers, British soldiers, learning a new way to live. This is winter warfare training in Norway, where you learn to look after yourself and each other.
God, how many more? Go on. Oh, that's it. Just pull with your one arm. Steady. Don't forget, as soon as that comes up to you, get it off and get the next one ready, okay? Come on, hurry up.
We will be digging in for the night and arriving your location 08:15 tomorrow. Over.
solid steak tonight, okay?
Pack it in, Steve. We're going to open a tin.
The British Army. Winter warfare training, Norway.
And now here is the 9 o'clock news.
Time to get to work, George.
Yes, Phil. If you were George and Lil, which house would you choose to burgle?
This'll do, George. No one has told me that.
When you're out for the evening, do yourself a favour. Leave a light on in the downstairs room. It could stop George and Lil calling round.
Good night's work, eh, Lil?
Hey, Lil, we've been done!
George, you should have left the light on.
Yeah, there's some funny people about. Don't forget, leave a light on in the downstairs room.
Oh,
There's some funny people about.
Don't dazzle. Dip your headlights.
There are furniture makers in the Cotswolds who still believe in the old values, taking time, paying attention to detail, making sure that quality and craftsmanship is kept alive and well. The furniture makers are Wesley Barrel. And why we're mentioning it to you now is that at all the beautiful Wesley Barrel showrooms, gestures have been made with regard to price. We're having a sale. You'll find Wesley Barrel's fine furniture in Birmingham, Rugby, Witney, Banbury, Cheltenham and Swindon. Come and see the craftsmanship. It's the hallmark of Wesley Barrel.
Revolver Records and Tapes is your kind of store. Albums from Paul Young and many more. We offer you the widest choice of product from people who know, who'll help you choose albums like Genesis. Or The Shadows. They're your kind of people who'll help you get it right. At Revolver Records, Tapes and Videos.
Sunspots. For your free holiday brochure, ring this number or fill in the coupon in the TV Times.
But he's good at singing Silent Night. Anyway, Jacques Tati returns in a week's time on New Year's Day at 4 o'clock with Playtime, and he's having a, well, rather trying day coping with a skyscraper. And there's more comedy here on 4 tonight at 8:25 as Robert De Niro and Jerry Lewis star in a film released earlier on this year. It's about a struggling comedian played by De Niro who wants to be the king of comedy and appear on chat show host Jerry Langford's show. So make a note, it's the king of comedy and it's at 8:25 tonight. You're watching Channel 4, and this is Keith Harrison wishing you a very Merry Christmas from us all.
Boxing Day Adventure takes us in search of the elusive Scarlet Pimpernel.
Damn the Scarlet Pimpernel! Now he's made up with the Duc de Lyon.
Has proved most elusive. Is he in heaven? Or is he in hell? That damn elusive Pimpernel.
No, he's in the Boxing Day film at 2:30 on ITV.
And we'll both be watching that. Now, coming up at 12 o'clock this afternoon, we've got Bruce Scott introducing a quiz programme where members of the public do things like pilot planes and drive buses. All sounds very old. Now, though, it's our favourite, isn't it? Hey, what is it?
opens in Aylesbury. Sensational opening offers. Furniture, beds and carpets, half price.
There's no better way than Queen's Way. It's so much fun to put on tattoos, and there's so many for you to choose. They stay on in the rainbow, come on, forget the Tuesday stuff to you, long as you want them to. Tattoos, tattoos, tattoos.
Tattoos from Action GT.
One voice. That just about sums it up. One voice. Epitomised by the Vauxhall Male Voice Choir, standing for the harmony and unity of the people of Luton. Next week, Highway moves on to County Down in Northern Ireland. See you then.
Citizen 84 puts alternative medicine under the microscope. Miracles or mumbo-jumbo. We talk to a woman who claims it's worked for her and ended 40 years of suffering. And the heavy brigade of light entertainment. But can they weigh into the charts? Citizen 84, 6:30, Monday.
180,000, 190, 190,000 pounds for the gentleman on my left. 190,000, going once, going twice. 200,000.
Make the moment last with Fry's chocolate cream.
How often have you thought about making some improvements and then left it at that? Now you can do it easily with Show Me How, a practical weekly guide to making and caring for the things in your home. In the first issue, Making Curtains, with a chart showing how much material you need, whatever your heading tape, and how to remove those annoying white rings. And there are lovely ideas, like making a matching lampshade from a spare bit of wallpaper. Imagine making padded headboards, loose covers, a simple towel holder. Show Me How, helping you turn your thoughts into action.
Tuesday, wrote Mr. Kipling, trouble at the bakery. A shortage of pastry had left my exceedingly popular apple pies without their customary crusts. Notwithstanding, I ordered them baked while I searched for a solution. I soon came up with a topping idea, and within minutes created the apple sundae, the blackcurrant sundae, and the strawberry sundae. And it was only Tuesday.
If you want a great deal on a new car, go for it. Go to PJ Evans for your new Austin Rover. Go for Maestro. It's the advanced family car that's even better value with a go-for-it deal at PJ Evans. Go for Metro with fantastic deals on the whole range from the City to the exhilarating MG Turbo at PJ Evans. Go for Acclaim. Take a test drive in a car that's totally equipped for driving pleasure at PJ Evans. Go for a great deal on any new Austin Rover car at PJ Evans and Archers, Birmingham, Dudley and Solihull.
Look in on Leach at Chaucer Court, Ilkeston. Ask about no deposit mortgages and generous part exchange. See the show home this weekend.
Well, what are you going to break it with next?
Don't worry, Jimmy. He'll think of something.
When it's live comedy, anything may happen. And at 9:15, there's action as the professionals return. comedy and action. Tonight...
I just started on Channel 4. We'll get that right on the night, don't worry about it. Just started on Channel 4, The World at War that goes to Germany in the years 1945. Now it'll be all right on the night.
Tomorrow on BBC One, the feature film is one of the most famous love stories in history, Mireling, starring Omar Sharif and Catherine Deneuve, with James Mason.
Your letter to the Pope requesting an annulment
of a marriage that makes me the laughingstock of all Europe.
And James Robertson Justice.
Bravo, well done, Roger. Well done. It may take time, but we will be together one day, and we won't be parted anymore.
Mireling, the Wednesday film, tomorrow at 6:45.
And now to continue this Tuesday evening on BBC One, as a tribute to Eric Morecambe, we're showing the 1971 Morecambe and Wise Christmas show. That programme was shown as a tribute to Eric Morecambe. Dolly Parton in London, which was scheduled for this evening, can now be seen in 2 weeks' time on Wednesday the 13th of June. And now on BBC One, later than originally planned, Ronnie Corbett stars as the surprisingly irrepressible Timothy Lumsden in Sorry.
What I want to offer you tonight is no magic wand, no easy path, but a message of hope. Governments can destroy jobs, as Margaret Thatcher has shown. Governments can also create jobs, as both Labour and even Conservative governments have shown in the past. And we can show it again in the future. We stand for, we believe in, the right to work, for caring about our society, for a nation not divided by the misery of unemployment, but a nation united and confident about its future. We can, and with your help, we will put this country back to work.
That was the Right Honourable Peter Shaw MP speaking for the opposition on the budget. His reply will be shown again on BBC Two tonight at 10:45.
There we go. Oh dear. Come and have a look at this.
This Sunday, the world about us looks at a young couple wanting to buy a highly desirable residence and at some of their co-tenants.
If Sue and John decide to move in, there are many beasts that will...
The finances could take the strain. That's it this evening from ITN, but don't forget those two special programmes from us. Anthony Carthew reporting on the Prince and Princess of Wales in Canada, Jon Snow talking about the Pope in Poland. But for tonight, from all of us here at ITN, to you, a very good evening.
Now the regional weather forecast. The night will be dry and clear, and although it will be quite misty by early morning, the mist will quickly clear tomorrow and the rest of the day will be sunny. Temperatures will fall to around 9 centigrade overnight, rising to 22 centigrade tomorrow afternoon, and by the way, that's a little warmer than today, and winds will be light easterly. And the outlook for Monday and Tuesday, it still looks good, continuing dry and warm with plenty of sunshine, and that's the forecast for the central region.
A daiquiri for the lady. What do people drink around here? Oh. Perhaps I'll have a pint of Strongbow.
Strongbow. Strong, straight, true.
Tell the truth, at 16 I couldn't wait to get out into the big wide world. It was watch out everyone, here I come. Oh, watch out? Yeah, well, it was a bit of a shock, I'll tell you. Of course, I knew it wasn't going to be easy getting a worthwhile job when I left school. Easy, walking on water would have been easier. But then, as luck would have it, I saw this advert. Youth training scheme. Now, I don't go a bundle on schemes. I mean, where there's a scheme, there's usually a schemer, right? But as it happens, this youth training scheme looks okay. There's a year of training, proper training, and practical experience. And what do you know? You get something that's worth more than money. A signed certificate that will give you a real chance of getting a decent job. If you don't get on a youth training scheme, how are you going to get on?
Hello, Mr. Jones. I'm from Lex Wilkinson. Mr. Jones?
Too busy. Got all these perishing parcels to shift.
Lex Wilkinson, the total distribution service.
Eh?
We've the most comprehensive next-day service with last-minute collections and reliable AM deliveries, even Saturdays. A real value-for-money express parcel service. Take any size, shape or weight. Our collection and delivery service covers the whole country with computer monitoring for total control. We've even warehousing and many other services. Dial 100 and ask for free phone Lex Wilkinson. Now, rely on us and relax.
A new Renault 9C for just £24 a week from Man Edgerton. Man Edgerton, Welford Road, Leicester.
Now it's easy to remember when to feed your houseplants. You do it just once a year and water as usual for the rest of the year. New feed and grow mats contain all the nourishment a plant needs for a whole growing year. No measuring, no mess, no overfeeding, no underfeeding. New feed and grow mats, the once a year plant food. Now everybody can have green fingers.
Imagine the taste and smoothness of natural yogurt. The fresh tang of fruit juice, blended together in perfect harmony to create a new refreshing drink. So delicious, so satisfying, it's a completely new taste experience. Ambrosia yogurt juice, a taste beyond expectation.
As a rule, hi-fi systems which look like this Sentra 608 and sound like this Sentra 607 are expensive. Happily, every rule has exceptions. Sentra, exceptional hi-fi from £400 to £139. Tomorrow night we begin a new series of Thomas Magnum, that's at 7:45. Gail Honeycutt stars in Tales of the Unexpected at 8:45. And then at 9:30 we begin our new drama series, Birth of a Nation.
Jeff Figg was late for school. He was 35 before he started teaching, and there were some things that Jeff would never understand.
I asked you very nicely before these gentlemen arrived, and I'm going to ask you again. Will you please bend over?
No.
Okay, boys.
I'm not here because I want to be here. It ain't nothing to do with me. What are you starting on me for? Don't ask me no questions. You're the teacher. You've got to take it out of your head and put it into mine. That's your job.
Jeff Figg, searching for a bridge between teaching and learning in Birth of a Nation. Sunday night drama at 9:30 on ITV.
Now we present the full-length film version of Gerald Seymour's famous novel Harry's Game. And by the way, if you're hard of hearing, you'll find subtitles on page 199 of Oracle.
Can you believe that this man could have bought this new lightweight video and camera from JVC? Instead, he bought one made for a gorilla. Pity. And why didn't she buy JVC's personal hi-fi with detachable radio and Dolby? Hers has got hiss. Shame. And if only he had bought JVC's compact stereo, it comes with a rather nifty record deck, and you can take it anywhere. Instead, he bought a bloomin' monster. Silly Billy. JVC, you've either got it or you haven't.
number ones. Can't be nuts, they fresh and tasty in the bag. They give you lots of protein, which can't be bad. They're irresistible. They're really beautiful.
We're having so much fun
with Britain's number one. My lucky number ones.
And now from Bedworld, we wish you a very good night.
Bedworld at the new ELS this Sunday.
Holidays abroad? Never again. Third time we've been. Third time we've had tummy trouble.
Diacalm for you. Diacalm beats holiday tummy troubles fast.
I don't know about you, but it grieves me to see something as magnificent as a tiger kept behind bars. It's a crying shame. Same again, Pat. In an ideal world, every tiger would be free.
Your tiger, sir.
But it's not. It gives you a great feeling inside to be able to free a tiger.
Everard's Tiger Bitter. Too good to be kept behind bars.
HFC Trust are in the High Street to give you friendly advice on personal loans and savings to help improve your family's lifestyle. New furniture, a fitted kitchen, a home extension. We're open 6 days a week, Saturdays till 1, so you can call in any time to see the manager. HFC Trust, someone to talk to about money.
Don't pass that moment up. Catch it before it's gone with Polaroid pictures. Just take it and pass it on.
Now it's easier to pass the moment on. Polaroid's new Sun 600 has a piece of the sun and a new low price.
With Polaroid pictures, just take it and pass it on. Don't pass that moment up, pass it on.
Why don't you run along and play outside? Mummy says the fresh air would do you good.
Let your children play outside and you put their lives at risk.
But you must be careful to stay away from the main road.
Even the quietest roads can kill because small children just can't understand the dangers.
Let's go and say hello to that nice dog. Tracy!
Don't play with their lives. Don't let them out of sight.
Don't just sit there and twiddle your handset. Page the Oracle and plan your holes.
Page the Oracle and stock up with shares.
Page the Oracle and they're off.
Who's off?
They're off at Catterick. We knows, you know.
For runners, riders, results, reviews, and 30 pages of the very latest news, page the one who knows. Page the Oracle.
You're not still sitting there, are you?
A busy road. A driver wants to turn right across the oncoming traffic. He sees a gap. It seems to be enough. But because his attention is focused on the approaching lorry, he doesn't notice a motorcyclist driving perfectly correctly somewhere in front of it. Look out for bikes when you turn right.
Higher speeds on motorways can fool you into thinking you're safe when you're not. Use your mirror often. On the motorway, use your mirror often. For the sake of the driver ahead, and the driver behind, and for your own sake, on motorways, use your mirror often.
That closing theme music from Harry's Game by Clannad is available on record.
before Susan Penhaligon introduces A Kind of Living.
Again. Over the last few weeks, we've looked at the dedication, skills, and sheer physical effort which are needed to achieve any measure of self-sufficiency. But on this...
Miss Marple deals with murder most foul next Friday, but her involvement in this odious crime is all worth it when she proves a man's innocence and gives us a lot of fun investigating a none too successful theatrical company. Margaret Rutherford with Ron Moody as Driffold Cosgood in a case of murder most foul at 20 to 6 next Friday. There's live music from Marillion and the Smiths in about 5 minutes in ORS 84, which also includes a new band, The Farm, star guests, and not forgetting the studio audience. Before all that on too, here's an award-winning film from Canada, Zia. Well, in about 40 minutes here on 2, Nigeria, a squandering of riches. A World About Us special on the people and the mood of the country during the critical week.
Said that was the first Teckley tea bag with two
by 3 people personally involved in divorce. The lawyer, Marvin Mitchelson, the cartoonist, Mel Kalman, and Fiona Thiessen at 9:25, and at 10:05, a birthday tribute to one of the most glittering stars of the Australian firmament, Dame Edna Everage. An event given added dignity by the presence of none other than the cultural attaché himself, Sir Les Patterson. Newsnights at 10:55, and finally at 11:40, the Icicle Works. A Liverpool group perform at Sefton Park in a whistle test special. And now, Margaret Rutherford as Agatha Christie's creation, Miss Marple, is on the trail again of Murder Most Foul.
Next week, the role of a duchess for Margaret Rutherford, ruling over the imaginary Duchy of Grand Fenwick. When their only export, wine, starts exploding, the economy is threatened, but it's also discovered that it makes excellent rocket fuel, and the decision is taken to make the first man on the moon a Fenwickian. The Mouse on the Moon at 5:40 next Friday. On BBC One are the final of Junior Superstars, presented by Ron Pickering and David Vine. While we on 2 visit Manchester for ORS 84.
Page Oracle's new fast weather service. There's so much on it.
Over on Channel 4, Saturday night slot, the 7 days, returns to its normal Saturday night slot, and that's happening right now. It's discussing the moral and religious values underneath the news issues this week. But here on Central, the film that actually shows the outtakes under the end credits, Smokey and the Bandit Ride Again. At the moment, Channel 4 is asking whatever happened to the war brides, the 70,000 who sailed to America in 1946 to join their GI husbands. Well, for some of them, it was quite a good experience. For some of them, perhaps not so good. Find out on Channel 4. But here on Central, it's news time.
Ulster Police Chief denies cover-up on cross-border incident. TUC chairman tells the unions, rally round the miners. Welsh anti-apartheid protesters heckle South African rugby players. Nicky Lauda wins the South African Grand Prix. Britain's Warwick is third. Good evening. Northern Ireland's Chief Constable, Sir John Herman, has denied any police cover-up of special branch activities over the border in the Republic.
And Peter Lorre appears again on 4 next weekend as a former gangster rival to Gladys Donahue, a Broadway gambler played by Humphrey Bogart, in the comedy thriller All Through the Night. That's next Saturday afternoon at 2:25.
iTech is the new weekly home study course which gives you the in-depth view of electronics and computers. Get to grips with digital circuits and how a complete system works. How machine codes are constructed and how a microchip reads them. What is a PN junction? A status flip-flop? A bubble memory? iTech has all the answers. In depth.
Katanga, my friends. Okay, that's the only way to describe this here at Coles and Pilston. I've never seen such choice for every room in your Mbugwanga. I mean your house. Okay, over 200 lounge suites to try from top names like Bridgecraft, the stylish G-Plan range, the latest dining and bedroom furniture, beds, kitchens and bathrooms spread over 2 spacious floors, and all with big sale savings.
Coles is the store that you should know, 'cause they're out on their own.
Got some minutes. Please put him in the front door.
On BBC Two now, a unique gala celebrating the memory of Maria Callas, with contributions from many famous names in the world of opera, including Placido Domingo and Kiri Te Kanawa. Here on One, in 35 minutes, we're off on a Red River safari in Wildlife on One. Before that, John Peel and David Jensen bring you a live edition of Top of the Pops. The new Top of the Pops video cassette, released by the BBC and featuring 15 top bands, is now available.
Christmas entertainment for all the family.
Do you remember which record was the first #1 of 1983, or what was the Christmas hit 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or even just last year?
Just some of the questions Mike Reed won't be answering. The dream of becoming Santa Claus comes true for one 8-year-old when Jim fixes it and brings a touch of seasonal magic to his Christmas show. Keith Harris and his friends extend an invitation to a very special Christmas party with Orville and Cuddles and some unexpected guests. Aviemore in Scotland is the setting for an Anglo-Swedish It's a Christmas knockout, fun and games with a distinctly seasonal flavour. And in the tradition of Christmas, the Circus World Championships, in which over 50 contenders compete for the coveted gold medals of their profession. Entertainment every day for Christmas here on BBC One.
In 25 minutes, comedy in Only Fools and Horses. Before that, Wildlife on One.
Broadmarsh Centre, Nottingham is just the place to do all your Christmas shopping this year. There are 86 shops, all under one roof, selling everything from fashion to food, computers to cosmetics. There is easy car parking, a bus terminal, and restaurants. Do all your shopping for the family this Christmas at Broadmarsh Centre, Nottingham.
Help for handicapped people. Ask at your Social Security office or write to this address. DHSS, Box 21, Stanmore.
Now, the last of our Film on 4 series for this year. Accounts based on Michael Wilcox's award-winning play movingly and realistically shows the harshness and difficulties of life on a border farm in Scotland.
A few lines for level, please. Sound. Sound running. Camera. Speed. Marking. Film on 4.
Entertainment for this very special Friday night begins with a Christmas celebrity edition of Family Fortunes and a team of agony aunts facing the TVAM team. That's followed by That's My Boy.
Oh, not more carol singers.
Season's greetings.
Happy New Year.
Then at 8:15, a tribute to Our Gracie.
Sing as we go and let the world go by, singing a song we'll march along the highway. Say goodbye to sorrow. There's always tomorrow.
Highlights of this special Friday night on ITV.
Celebrity Family Fortunes, with Britain's top 5 agony aunts. From the Sunday Mirror, Claire Rayner. From TV Times, Katie Boyle. From the Daily Mail, Marjorie Proofs. From Woman, Virginia Ironside. And from The Sun, Deirdre Sanders. And the Good Morning Britain team from TVAM. Nick Owen, Weather Girl Wincy Willis, John Stapleton, Keep It Girl Lizzie Webb, and Anne Diamond. All here to play Family Fortunes.
BBC One launches into a new season of adventures for Doctor Who, starting this Thursday, as the TARDIS materializes in a military base on Earth.
Prepare to fire energy tracers.
No, don't.
You recognize it?
Yes. You mustn't attack. That's a Silurian battlecruiser. The race that ruled this planet long before your species evolved.
Fire again!
More danger awaits the Doctor in a different time zone as the evil Malice awakes.
Doctor, the Malice.
Going stronger. Now everybody stay perfectly calm and still.
Even the Doctor's calm is shattered when the TARDIS is forced down on the planet Frontius.
Really? With whom?
Well, that is yet to be determined. As you can see, we're helpless.
Not if I have anything to do with it. Swift exit, I think. We've had enough of this planet.
And later in his travels, the Doctor meets some old enemies. Doctor Who starts a new series of adventures this Thursday at 6:40 on BBC One.
Now on BBC One, there's comedy all the way through till 9 o'clock. At 8:10, Frank Muir continues his celebration of the best of British comedy. But first, a special holiday presentation of the all-star antics that prove it's a mad, 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 mad world.
This Sunday on BBC One, The Thornbirds, Colleen McCulloch's best-selling novel, now a spectacular film drama series. A turbulent saga which tells of an Australian frontier family and a priest torn between duty and desire, Father Ralph de Bricassar, who meets a young girl.
And who are you?
I'm Maggie.
And knows he will love her forever.
You can marry me. You love me?
But I love God more.
But others too are drawn.
Speed 101.
Ever seen Ralph de Bricassar?
I thought it was my soul you were after, Mary.
Mary Carson, the richest but loneliest woman in Australia.
You don't love me.
I have always loved you. So much so I would have killed you for not wanting me.
And Maggie, rejected, turns to a young drifter, Luke O'Neill. It's a story that travels around the world, from the Vatican to the Australian outback, from the islands of Greece to London.
I've tried so hard to get her out of my heart.
Starring Barbara Stanwyck, Gene Simmons, Christopher Plummer, Rachel Ward, and Richard Chamberlain, The Thornbirds, starting this Sunday at 7:45 on BBC One.
Now on BBC One, here's Frank Muir to continue his celebration of BBC comedy. BBC Two, in just a few moments, continues its look forward beyond 1984. Who will exercise the greater power in the future, the state or the individual? And will Big Brother really be watching us in the 21st century? Here on One in Just 10 Minutes, the life story of the pioneering aviator Amy Johnson, the first woman to fly solo to Australia. First, the main news with Nicholas Witchell. It's just after 9 o'clock.
France moves 5...
In 35 minutes, we return to comedy in No Place Like Home. First on BBC One, the magic of Torval and Dean, who are about to begin their quest, skating for gold.
Ted Hughes, whose job it is to write verse for important royal occasions, asked if he'd be writing a few lines for the royal christening on Friday. He said there wasn't time, and he added, "For the rest, I'll have to let the muse be my guide." Appropriate enough. That's it from us. John Humphreys will be here with the 9 o'clock news. From Jeremy and me, good night.
Now on One, Midlands Today, with Alan Towers and Cathy Rochford.
Good evening. There's a warning tonight that homeless people could die on the streets of Nottingham over Christmas unless urgent action is taken to find them shelter. The details in a moment.
A 2-year-old baby girl went missing early this morning when her father's car was stolen from outside a newspaper shop.
Simone Radway was in the back seat when a thief pounced only seconds after her father had stopped to buy a newspaper.
Is it going to be like in the open air during the next 24 hours? All the details coming up now from Cathy.
The evening will be dry with clear intervals, but cloud will thicken from the west later. After midnight, rain will spread across all parts of the region, though clearer, drier weather will reach the West Midlands by dawn. Frost isn't expected. In the morning, the rain in Northamptonshire will soon clear, and it'll be generally bright with the odd shower. The afternoon will bring sunny spells to most places, but also some scattered showers. Temperatures will be less mild than today. In the evening, showers will become few and far between. The cloud will be well broken and there'll be clear intervals. A frost is likely later. Tonight's weather picture is from 9-year-old Rachel Heathcote, who goes to the William Hudson Junior School in Burton-on-Trent. And the outlook, it'll be cold and dry with fog and frost at night.
Time now for the headlines. Mrs. Thatcher has signed the agreement to hand over Hong Kong to Communist China. The ceremony was completed with a champagne toast. The Environment Secretary has been defending his decision to curb council spending against a barrage of criticism from backbench Tories.
A 2-year-old Birmingham child who disappeared when her parents' car was stolen has been found. And there's a claim that people could die this Christmas on the streets of Nottingham because a shelter for the homeless has shut.
Well, just a few days to go before Christmas, we'll tuck into Christmas dinners. Scientists at Warwick University have served up a bit of a bombshell. While 20-year-olds are bound to be drooling over every succulent mouthful of turkey, even the most sprightly 80-year-old will be left wondering what all the fuss is about. Well, extensive tests among the elderly in Coventry have shown that as we get older, the taste buds, like many other things, don't work quite as well as they used to. To get round this depressing prospect, the scientists are suggesting that special, strong-tasting food should be made for older people. So when Grandad says things don't taste as good as they did in the old days, he really is telling the truth. We hope to bring you the real flavour of Christmas when we go to Hereford tomorrow. You're welcome to join us at 6:30. Till then, goodbye.
Entertainment for this Wednesday evening. In a moment, The District Nurse. And then at 7:25, the best of Torval and Dean. Another chance to see their 4 World Championship performances. At 8 o'clock, Dallas. After her honeymoon with Clayton, Miss Ellie returns home to the family a changed woman.
I don't see her yet. Well, she's got to be there with Clayton.
There she is. Welcome home, Mama.
And at 8:45, there's more sex, violence, fear and hatred. In what? Points of view, of course. Your own personal Dallas.
At 9:25, international boxing from the Ulster Hall in Belfast features the featherweight title fight between Boxer of the Year Barry McGuigan and Clyde Ruan of Slough. Then at 10:15, Barry Norman.
In Film 84, I'll be reviewing 2 Christmas releases, Dune and The Last Starfighter, and we'll have the first glimpse of Francis Ford Coppola's Cotton Club and David Lean's A Passage to India.
At 10:45, Macmillan at War, the first of 3 programmes in which Lord Stockton talks to Ludwig Kennedy about his role during World War II. Late Night in Concert at 11:20 features the music of the Cars, rounding off Wednesday evening here on BBC One.
Well, now it's time to join Nerys Hughes as Megan Roberts, the district nurse.